Hi, Aaron Samantha here, naturopathic doctor. This video is on sprouting. We're going to show you how to sprout and why it is good to sprout. In front of you we have some of my sprouting from the past week. I've done a 7-day sprout, 5-day, 3-day, 1-day, and this is basically dried beans in this cup here. So what we're doing in this cup is a mixture of lentils, green peas, and garbanzo beans or chickpeas. And what we've done is we've soaked them for 10 hours. I do it overnight. And then we rinse them, and you can see different apparatus to sprout with. You'll see these at health food stores, and you can find them online. This one here comes in different sets. You can get different lids for it. Smaller perforations for smaller seeds, and bigger ones for the one that I've done here. So what this does is it just fits over a mason jar, and then you can incline it on a dish rack like such and let it drain after you've rinsed it, which you're going to do twice a day at least. You can do it more times a day. You want to keep the beans moist, but you don't want to keep them saturated in the water. So putting them on an angle and letting them drain, as well as a clear glass to let the light develop the chlorophyll and the other nutrients it needs when it's germinating. So this is an apparatus, a lid that you just throw on a mason jar, very easy to use, and you can buy these in different sizes for the different seeds. The next one, so right in this one I've got the 1-day, and in the 1-day sprout you can see that there's just a tiny little tail starting to emerge out of some of the beans and seeds. It's just this white little tail. So just like those experiments that some of you may remember I do in elementary school where we germinated that green pea. Let me find one for you here. We put it in like wet tissue, and we put it in that styrofoam cup and put it by the windowsill, and we each watched it and see who grew the fastest. But basically, you can see the little tail there, and that'll germinate into a pea plant eventually. But we're going to eat it within the first week to 2 weeks of it germinating. So that's day 1. Day 2 is a different day 3 is a different apparatus. So this has been sprouting for 3 days after their initial rinse. And this apparatus again, it comes. You can buy the lid separately. I don't think it's not a mason jar, so it comes together as one product. But again, it's got the perforations, good for big seeds, and it's got this tilt on it, so you don't even have to use your dish drain. You don't have to use that space. You just put it over a plate or another container on the side. Again, it's glass, letting the sunlight in. And you can see on this example that the germinating sprout is a little longer. So that's 3 days. You can see some of them are quite long. And again, what's happening here is a miracle of life, really. The bean, after being soaked in water, it activates these enzymes, and the nutrient profile exponentially increases. So you have about 200 times more nutrients in the sprout than you do in the dormant seed or bean. So moving along, we've got the next apparatus in the 5-day sample here. This is called the Sprout Man. Actually, this lid's supposed to go like this. Neat contraption, as the inside sleeve has perforations at the bottom, so you can see it draining well. It's not sitting in the water of the cup at the bottom, but this apparatus lets good ventilation. It's good to have ventilation so that it isn't getting moldy, but don't fear, there's no increased. This is a very safe process. You hear a lot about sprout toxicity, mold, stuff like that. You get more food poisoning from that, potato salad at your picnics, or from misuse of chicken and meat, than you do with sprouts. So very safe, clean process, and very nutritious. So this is called the Sprout Man. It's plastic, so I wouldn't recommend doing that initial soak that you do for 8 to 10 hours or overnight with seeds in the plastic. I like the glass jars for that. But you can transfer to this, and it drains well, ventilates well, and you can see after 5 days, it's quite similar to the 3-day one. You'll find this dries them out quicker, so you may need an extra rinse during the day. I recommend 2 rinses, but you can go to 3 rinses or more. So that's the 5-day sprout. And lastly, we have the 1 week, and this is a different one, just a jar with a metal top and a metal mesh at the top, and that comes as one product as well. Again, you have to put it on an angle in your dish rack to let it drain properly. And in this one, you can maybe see some green tips on the ends of the sprout, and that means that chlorophyll is now starting to develop thanks to the sunlight that's available. So 7 days old, you can throw these on salads, you can have them as a snack. The bigger beans are good to start with because they're crunchy, they're tasty, kids love them, easier to transition to than the smaller seeds, which I'll show you next. If you can see there's tiny little black ones, those are the broccoli seeds. And health impact wise, there's probably the most research on those. Johns Hopkins University even has a whole department on studying those broccoli seeds and the effect of using sprouting broccoli seeds for anti-cancer, detoxification, things like that. So amazing punch to those seeds when they sprout. Probably about a tablespoon of those will equal many heads of actual broccoli consumption. So it does save you. You can get nice spicy ones with mustard and arugula and other radish and other stronger things too if you like the spiciness. But again, I'm using Sprout Master seeds and beans and things like that. And again, a lot of different information and products from them as well. So we're taking this dried seed. I've put about 3 tablespoons in this jar here. It doesn't take a lot. They do grow quite a bit. I've rinsed them to get rid of dust or anything like that, any particulate, in just tap water, drained it, and now I filled it with spring water. I recommend spring water. It's just less chlorine and other fluoride if your municipal water has fluoride. And we're going to soak this overnight. So 8 hours, 10 hours for smaller seeds, 12 hours plus for the big ones. All right. After that, in the morning, I'm going to tip on its side, drain the water, rinse it out a couple times, and then sit to drain in the drying or the dish rack. And we're going to do that twice a day minimum. You can rinse and drain a few times a day. You want to keep them moist, well ventilated, but you don't want to keep them saturated in water. All right? So, pound for pound, one of the best cost-effective nutrition elements in a diet. Great for detox, great for flavonoid and nutrient health, good digestion. If you want more tips, check out my Health Foundation series on nutrition, fitness, and other videos. fitND.com. We'll see you next time.